Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Something's Wrong podcast. I'm your host, Dick Hickok, and we have another episode for you today, another normal episode. Nothing mass media related this time, just a good old-fashioned Something's Wrong extravaganza. Before we get to our main film of discussion, the McPherson tapes, aka alien abduction, fucking goddamn it, McPherson tapes. It's called the McPherson tapes. It's also known as UFO abduction. But before we get to that, we're gonna get to our fucking new tradition, a weekly no sleep reading. Because of the way that I'm doing my uploads, I wasn't actually able to have anyone vote on which of the titles from last main episode I would read this week. But looks to me like fucking Reddit voted for me, because this one really seemed to blow up despite its title, or actually possibly because of its title. Because the title involves a cat, and I think that immediately gets a lot of eyes in most parts of the internet. Things about cats, especially spooky cats. People really like spooky cats. Anyway, this title is called Attention. Will the person who adopted this cat please contact me immediately? And it's by user, I guess U is user, u/let's split up. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure out if I want to edit out the name or not. But for now, that's who wrote it. And this is called Attention. Will the person who adopted this cat please contact me immediately? In all caps. All right, here we go. If you have this cat or know who has him, please contact me immediately. It is a life or death matter. Reward $10,000. I know he looks cute, but please, please, please do not keep this cat. Pick here. Ooh, hang on. Look at the pic. Brief diversion from the story. Look at the pic. It's a kitty. It's a black kitty, and it's got a sweater. That's adorable. Look at that. That's lovely. That's awesome. This is the type of content we need. I think that's probably just the end of the story right there. But, I'll keep reading. It seems like there's a couple paragraphs left. Let me explain. You've heard of cats who can predict death. Oh, sorry. Let me reread that again. You've heard of cats who can predict death? There was one who went viral for sleeping on the beds of terminally ill hospice patients hours before they died, comforting them in their final hours. Malcolm is like that. 2 years old, 2 years old, black with white on his chest and below his belly so that he looks like he has a bib and underpants. Cute as a button, but not bright. It took him a full month to learn his name. Even after it finally clicked, he'd forget and look around in astonishment anytime one of the seniors cooed, "Here, Malcolm, kitty boy." He's a great therapy cat, and everyone loves him at Harmony Village Senior Living. Oh, shit. It's a fucking senior center. That's not... That's not good. He started his predictions with the terminally ill. At first, it was endearing. He'd hang out around the bed of whoever was going to croak, sit on their laps with his paws on their chest. It's not a complete sentence. Sweet kitty boy, everyone said, giving comfort in people's final hours. And it's true, he did give comfort. I remember the first dead body I saw. A guy named Clarence, pre-Malcolm. Clarence had a stroke. They found him in bed, soiled in his own filth, eyes bloodshot and face purple and screaming like he died in the most horrible agony and was still screaming somewhere in hell. I shouldn't have looked. Since Malcolm, the deaths have been peaceful. I think people are just happier to go with a purring kitty beside them. But then, he started predicting the deaths of healthy people. First was Bob, one of the younger residents, used to run weekly bingo. After a game, he'd take the bingo ball roller back to his room. Seeing Malcolm hot on Bob's heels the last time was no surprise. Malcolm is obsessed with those bingo balls. But then, Bob never came out. We found him lying on his rug with the bingo balls scattered around him, Malcolm beside him, winking bright, shining eyes at us. Next to go was Cindy, a social worker who never finished her meeting. After Cindy came Ralph, a visitor, then Tom, the van driver. Wherever the bodies were found, in a chair, in the grass slumped at the table, Malcolm was there. And in every case, their faces bore expressions of utmost serenity, as if they'd happily gone to the angels. That's when I started to suspect there was something more to this cat. I'd feel his luminescent eyes on me, and the hairs on my neck would prickle as I wondered if he was going to choose me next. What if it wasn't malicious? I mean, he always got praised when people passed away. What if, I wondered, he thinks it's good when people die, and as long as he keeps getting praised, he'll just keep making it happen? When I told Kathy about my theory, she gathered him in her arms and told me protectively he was just a little kitty boy. As for the seniors at Harmony Village, well, they dote on him as if he's their furry grandson. If I'd ever dared so much as suggest rehoming him, I'm pretty sure I'd have had dozens of angry old people throwing whatever was on hand at me. Hang on, quick break. Who was Kathy? Kathy. Was Kathy mentioned earlier? I'm just trying to figure out who Kathy was, just so I can... Yeah, I don't know who Kathy is. Never mind. Whatever. Continuing story. Then last week, I arrived at work to see a little girl in a ponytail and frilly skirt running around giggling to and fro across the community room with Malcolm on her heels. All the seniors, looking on, were laughing. Now, normally, the little guy is a bit of a dunce. Thing is, he had this look, this ferocious concentration as he kept pace, never letting her out of his sight. I snatched him up and said it was kitty food time, but the seniors booed me. Reluctantly, I set the squirming Malcolm back down. Meanwhile, the little girl used this distraction to make a break for it, running out to the staircase as her great-grandmother cheered her on. Malcolm flew out in a blur. Seconds later, there was this thud. The girl's father, who'd been chatting with the staff about the care for the great-grandmother, rushed out to the staircase. I heard him screaming her name. I tried to keep the residents back. Her eyes were closed as if in sleep, but I knew she would never wake up again. I felt that hair-raising sense of being watched, of luminescent pinpricks of glowing eyes. I looked up. There, poking his head out from the railing, the little shit who'd sent her soul away from Earth. Malcolm. Well, you can guess what I did then. I put him in a sack and took him to the highway, but his pitiful mews got the best of me, so I veered off and dropped him at the animal shelter. Figured he'd be euthanized, put to a peaceful sleep, just like all the souls he sent away. Sorry, there's a fucking garbage truck outside my fucking shelter here. God damn it. Go away. All right, back to the story. Just put to a peaceful sleep, just like all the souls he sent away. But as soon as I walked back through the front doors at Harmony Village, I felt glowing eyes on me. That unblinking stare. I whirled and spun around looking for him, but he was nowhere. The residents, of course, were all torn up about Malcolm. They assumed he got outside and made me put posters all over the neighborhood. Missing cat, $50 reward, with a ridiculous picture of him in a sweater. Then last night, another one of the residents, Sandy, passed on. Sandy was never an animal lover, so I doubt Malcolm's company would have comforted her. When I came in this morning and saw them wheeling her out, the orderly looked absolutely nauseated. He told me not to look, said it was worse than Clarence. As he spoke, for a second, I saw those white pinpricks, unblinking eyes reflected in his glasses. What? Okay. Of course, the seniors are all gossiping about Sandy, and naturally they blamed her less than peaceful passing on Malcolm's absence. Remember old Winnie? I overheard one old lady say to another. How bad her dementia was? She always talked about the eyes. The eyes! The woman motioned with two fingers, representing eyes staring and staring at her. She was crazy. All that occult shit she was into. She wanted to curse Clarence. Remember how she stole his old shirt and used it in some ritual? Trying to steal his soul. That's right. Before she lost it, talking gibberish about how they're not eyes but teeth. Said she couldn't send them back because they were too strong after Clarence. But she stopped all that talk when Malcolm showed up. Said he couldn't stop the deaths, but he's a good boy who could stop them from consuming more souls. And eventually they'd weaken and disappear. I was out the door, rushing back to the shelter, but the animal shelter tells me they no longer have him. Please, if you recently adopted this black cat, newer pick here. Aww. Send him back! I know now it's not cat's eyes that have been following me. I don't want to wind up like Clarence, like Sandy, face frozen in an agonized scream. See, I realize now why the eyes don't blink. The longer they stare, the more I see. Swirling around the glowing edges. Rows and rows of serrated points. The eyes don't blink because they're not eyes at all. They're teeth. And they're hungry. Ooh. All right. Summary: the cat was actually a good charm that stopped the old people and other people in the hospice from getting their souls eaten by a monster that some old bitch named Winnie summoned. Fucking Winnie. She stole his shirt and used it in some ritual. Weird. Okay. Yeah, and then of course in the comments there's just all the same sort of shit where they pretend that it's a real thing. And then you get some actual like weirdos coming up. This is exactly why cats are fantastic. They can see between worlds and being as they do not. They can see between worlds and being as they do not fear the evils they protect us from it. Malcolm is truly a gift, and I hope you suffer no consequences from abandoning him at the shelter. He is a benevolent soul. Yeah. So this is what happens. You make a story about a cat on No Sleep, and then you get thousands of people reading it because everyone likes cat. Ooh, here you go. So a user named Sack of Garbage says, you tried to throw him out like trash and even have him put down, but now that's convenient for you, you want him back? Nah, fam. Malcolm deserves better. Enjoy the teeth. Okay, whatever. It's fucking weird shit. Anyway, our main topic of today is not random No Sleep stories. Our topic of today is our first movie from the found footage genre. It's also one of the first popular found footage films in English. Of course, a lot of people credit the founding of the found footage genre with Cannibal Holocaust, an Italian film about the Italian found footage film about a bunch of explorers who filmed their expedition into the Amazon jungle, and then they do a bunch of bad shit to the indigenous people, and then the indigenous people do a bunch of bad shit to them. And I guess they killed a bunch of animals because it was 1980s in fucking Italy and Brazil, and they just didn't have laws back then. But so I didn't really want to watch some nasty shit like that. So instead, I went to the first one that was definitely in English that I felt was a little bit weirder. This is our first weird ass shit type of movie, because it's not, there's not as much information about this thing as there would be in one of the demo films that I went over, like Jaws or The Thing, or even The Thing remake / sequel. It was prequel, Thing prequel, whatever the fuck that thing was. The movie wasn't that good. Anyway, yeah, so this is the McPherson tapes. So basically the main summary of the McPherson tapes, first of all, this is a very low budget film. It was directed by, who is it directed by? It was directed by Dean Alioto, and from what I can tell, Dean Alioto didn't really make that many movies. At least not many that were really major. Well, I guess he's made some stuff, but wait, did he write the Beatles documentary? Fuck, I didn't do my research. Oh, it's in development. Wait, what has he done? He did, okay. Right. So his first ever film was this one, McPherson tape. Not McPherson tapes. I guess it's just a McPherson tape. And then he made a remake called Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County, which also went under the title The McPherson Tapes. But whatever. And then he made some other independent films and a lot of TV movies, and then like a couple things that weren't TV movies and they seemed more like direct to video type of thing, like Shadowheart. Yeah, it's like a western, I guess. And then also Portal. Is he directing the Portal movie? Oh no, he's directing a spooky horror movie about portals that also looks very, very low budget. But this in this case, his debut film, he had no budget. And so he just decided to use a film tactic that's pretty common today, the found footage film genre, where you just have the main character also be the cameraman or woman, camera person. And so that's kind of what we have here. The McPherson Tapes follows basically a home movie of a birthday party for a young girl in the Van Hees family. Yeah, Van Hees family. Yeah, and the Van Hees family, they're not the McPhersons, which is very strange. There's no one named McPherson mentioned in the entire film. And so I assumed that was just kind of a working title that became like a cooler title, even though they didn't have the family be the McPhersons. They had it as the Van Heeses. Or maybe it was going to be called the Van Hees Tapes, but they didn't want to include the Dutch. I don't really know. I don't really understand why they did that. Let me just see. Was there something that I missed? Movie. Fuck, not. Oh my god. What is this shit? God damn it. I'm going to have to literally just. Yeah, that one. That one that I searched for, you fucking jackass Google. Fucking dickhead. Eat shit. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, the title misconception. So it was originally going to be called UFO Abduction. But why is it called the McPherson Tape? Maybe, I guess they based it off of the names of the family in the remake, because the remake actually got like a TV showing. An original title changed by no. Whatever. I don't know why they call it that. Widely known as the McPherson. Stupid. Anyway, the point is that it's called the McPherson Tape more popularly because that's a cooler name than UFO Abduction. And yeah, so basically the summary goes like this. There's a young man named Mike, Mike Van Hees, and he's going to like his niece's birthday party, which is already kind of weird. They're having a birthday celebration. It's like him, his two brothers. His older brother Eric, his eldest brother Eric has a wife, and it's his daughter who has the birthday, I guess. And then there's the second oldest brother who I don't even really remember if he was named. I didn't write down his names, so it's like whatever. And his girlfriend. And then there's Mike, who doesn't have a girlfriend or anything and just has a camera and sounds like a moron. And that's because Mike is played by Dean Alioto himself. Also there is their mother, Ma Van Hees, who is just an old lady. Their father is dead, as we find out a little later on. But yeah, it's Ma Van Hees, three brothers, the niece whose name is Michelle, and then the older brother's wife and the other older brother's girlfriend. And so that's what they're doing. Mike is filming it for some reason. And it opens up. I was kind of surprised at, that there was any quality at all, because it can be kind of hard to film like actual like found footage style stuff, because it's hard to get like the type of natural dialogue that you get just between, say, friends or family members. And so when it opened up, I was kind of surprised to see that they handled it pretty well. They start off with like banter about the camera. The camera turned on, and everyone was making fun of Mike, like, you don't have a girlfriend, and you got your camera around here. What you gonna film, Mike? What's gonna be interesting here? Blah blah blah. Just brothers goofing around, and so it was pretty good. But then, as the film went on, everyone just kept talking. They just kept fucking talking and talking forever, just constantly jabs and anecdotes. And like, if they hadn't seen each other for a while, you'd think there would be a good bit of talking. But at a certain point, you think they would fucking be quiet and just like, I don't know, enjoy the setting that they're in. Because apparently they're in like a little cottage in the mountains of Connecticut, which I assume are like kind of the end of the Berkshires or some shit like that. I don't really know how many mountains there are in Connecticut, but then again, not really a geographer, not really a geologist. I'm not really anybody, so I don't know anything about Connecticut mountains. But anyway, they're on one of them, I guess. And so the part of the plot summary here on Wikipedia says the early evening passes relatively uneventfully. And yeah, and that's very true, because the first like 10 to 20 minutes is just like nothing, just constant talking and banter and let's blow out the candles. And then when they go and blow out the candles, they turn the lights off and the lights won't turn back on. And they're like, well, shit, we got to go and investigate that. And I think the three brothers go around to the back of the house to like fix the circuits. And they see a weird red light passing overhead. Now, I forgot to mention this at first, but the only way that I was able to find this movie was on a little website called Pluto.tv. And Pluto TV, from what I've gathered, is really just a website where you can basically just watch certain regular cable TV things with ads for free. And sometimes they also have some movies on demand that you can watch with ads. But it's basically just like watching like a rerun of a movie on just like any regular cable channel, because it just has ads. And the worst part is it's local ads. It's got local fucking ads, because I guess it uses your location as part of like I don't know, whatever tracking cookies they have on there that I forgot to tell them not to use, or that I wouldn't be able to use the site without. And so I got advertisements for like car dealerships that were near my house, and I'd get them over and over again. Or like not even near my house, but just like a few towns away. Like I get some weird ass dealership, like Big Bob's Nissan is here with summer deals for your Nissan. And it was weird. It was just like all like car dealership commercials. And I guess that's just how they run their business at Pluto. Anyway, that's an aside. Just note that I was very bored throughout, because the whole movie was only like 80 minutes long, and it kept getting broken up by 2-minute cable TV like ads. Anyway, so the three brothers, they see a weird light overhead, and they hear a noise and they go walking around in the dark to check on it. I think they're also trying to find like a lantern for the blackout. And so they just go walking in the woods in the dark, and we can't see anything because it's really dark. And I guess that, that kind of works for the setting, makes it a little more spooky, but there's no music or anything. It's just, and they're constantly talking. There's no chance for any silence to set in and make things creepy. No one ever pipes down. They're all just talking about shit. They're talking about and also I don't know why Mike is still filming them getting a lantern in the dark. Like there's nothing even to film because they can't see anything. So that's just kind of stupid. You could have just had a cut there. But I don't know. I guess they need to fill out some of the runtime, because they really didn't is once again zero budget movie. It leads to a link called a zero budget movie. Also, the movie's only 66 minutes long. I thought it was like 80 minutes long because 20 minutes of those were literally ads, and the ads counted as part of the movie runtime on Pluto TV. So that's kind of, once again, just a little idea of what we're working with to gain access to this movie. So yeah, they talk about their ma's been drinking. And they all talk with like pretty like weird thick accents that I guess they're supposed to be kind of like New York area accents. And I don't know, maybe they are. They almost sound kind of Midwestern too. They're just like da 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 ba ba ma with ma. So I guess it's kind of like New York, kind of New Yorky, New England type of shit. But yeah, they're talking about how their old mom has started drinking rum every day since their dad died. And it's just like, yeah, you seen her just watching. She goes down, she watches her show, and she has that bottle or whatever it is. It's like, what do you mean a bottle or whatever it is? Like a decanter? Or is it a bottle? Is it a bottle of rum or is it a decanter? Because I don't think they make boxed rum, so it's probably just a bottle of rum. And so she goes down, she pours herself some fucking rum, I guess, which is interesting. I didn't really know that old ladies in Connecticut drink rum, but it's also like kind of a who gives a shit because she's old. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like disrespect towards the mom in this one, which is very strange. But they're just like, you're talking shit like, oh, we got to stop her. We got to stop her from doing that. It's like, who gives a fuck? She's old. She starts drinking now. Like, what is she gonna damage her brain? Like, who cares? She's old. Anyway, they keep talking forever until eventually they see a fucking spaceship, which is really just a big fucking shape covered in lights that are bright enough where you can't really see what the spaceship is made out of. And it's kind of, that's kind of a good effect. That's clever to make sure that you don't have to build like a giant thing with no money. You just get a bunch of lights together and kind of stack them up on boxes and shit. And they also see, they immediately see 3 aliens that look like they're just wearing like little like gray, like the classic fucking big head, gray, big black-eyed alien that are just like little gray dudes with bald heads. And it seems like they're all wearing like Steve Jobs turtlenecks coming out of the spaceship here. The spaceship that's really just a bunch of lights. And as soon as the aliens show up, as soon as they see what's going on with the spaceship, the quality in acting dropped immediately, because then they had to act like scared kind of and like also like interested, and they had to pretend that these little people in costumes, little people in fucking plastic alien costumes were like a real scary thing. And yeah, they eventually just like they're looking at them, and then the aliens see their fucking lights, and the alien turns towards them, and they all run back. They all run back to the house. And they all run back to the house, and they get guns. And then there's another 10-minute conversation, 10-minute like argument between the brothers and the rest of their families about like having the guns out, because the girlfriend and the wife of the other 2 brothers are like, no, we don't. Why are you got the guns? What's going on? And then Ma Van Hees is like, I don't like having the guns in the house. I'm freaked out by the guns in the house. And like, yeah, and like they grab the guns. They don't trust Mikey with a gun because he won't put the fucking camera down. And they're like, "Hey, would you take a gun?" And he's like, still has the camera in his hand, so he's like trying to hold a shotgun with one hand, and so his brother takes it back. And meanwhile, the whole time, the eldest brother Eric is telling everyone to shut up. Like, he keeps telling his wife and kid to like shut up. And it's like, oh my God, dude, stop yelling at them. You just came in saying you saw fucking aliens, and now you're waving a gun around, and they're freaked out, and you're just like, shut up, or I'm getting in the truck, and he says, I'm in charge of this family now. And Ma Van Hees is just like, oh, well, shit, well, okay. And then like at a certain point, yeah, the Mike, as we find out, he's constantly breathing really heavily throughout this whole sequence. Like for 10 minutes, he's just like, I assume he's kind of exaggerating the breathing so it can pick up on the microphone. But like, other than that, I don't know. He sounds like somewhere between just like exhausted and like possibly mentally handicapped, because he just talking like, no, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. We saw Eric. What are we doing, Eric? What are we doing? Come on, Eric. And Eric's like, shut up. Shut the fuck up, Mikey. Shut up, you little shit stain. Put the fucking camera up your ass and fucking film what's there. He didn't say that in the movie, but one thing he did say in the movie was, I get real nervous when there's space things outside. And dialogue like this makes me wonder how much of this was ad-libbed, because it feels like it would be kind of difficult to write out all of this like extraneous nothing dialogue. I feel like more they were just kind of outlines for what to talk about, and then the actors were allowed to kind of ad-lib it as things went on, especially during the scenes where they're freaked out, because it's really, a lot of it is just like Mike just saying things and Eric telling people to shut up, and like, yeah, and it's just kind of silly. But then they all settle down. Well, first they see a red light outside the house, and they're like, what is that? I got a gun. And nothing else happens. And but then somehow they eventually get calmed down by Ma Van Hees and like the others saying like, oh, they probably just have gone away now. Like, I guess maybe they have, but whatever. It doesn't really make any sense. And what makes even less sense is that they just go back to having the fucking birthday party. They just go back to like cutting up cake and eating cake and opening presents. And this goes on for like another like almost third of the movie. And they're just like talking. They're just like keep talking bullshit about, well, we're going to get back and we're going to fix the roof when tomorrow morning when I come back for breakfast. And they find that all their watches have broken, which is, once again, not unnerving at all. And they just keep on going to the birthday party. And they kind of a little bit mention the aliens a little bit. They kind of whisper like, we can't say anything yet about it because we don't know if other people know about it or not. And it's like, I don't know, maybe there's something there where it's like an intent to maybe sell their story or something like that. They just haven't figured it out yet. So, I mean, that sort of makes a little more sense where it's like, all right, we don't really want to talk about this yet just because we're all panicked and stuff, and we don't want it to get out to the wrong people or whatever, because we want to, tell our story about the aliens, the little turtleneck people, whatever. Anyway, they're starting to wrap it up, the party finally, and they find a drawing in pencil of an alien, and they're like, what is this? What's going on? What's this? And then they're like, there's Shelly, the little girl. Did you draw this? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, where'd you see this? And then she points at the window, and there's a fucking alien in the window. And they go, fuck. And they get all the guns back again. And they figure there's like at least one on the roof kind of walking around there. And they shoot at the one that's outside the window. And the gunshot sounds are literally just like sounds from like a keyboard. It's like, it's like really just like bassy, just kind of nothing shotgun blasts. And so basically finally Eric and the second eldest brother, whose name I don't know, they have their guns, and they decide that they're gonna go and get the truck and then drive back to the house and pick them up and then drive away, then escape out of, I don't know, the mountain or Connecticut or whatever. And in the process, they managed to kill one alien that's like outside by the truck, or they think they kill it because they shoot it and it's like lying down. And so they bring it into the house for whatever reason and just put it in Ma Van Hees's guest bedroom. Just like on her fucking like grandma style flowery sheets. And they just fucking lay that thing in there next to the back door, which is like, wow, fucking genius mode here. And they eventually, the back door apparently doesn't lock, which is like, god damn, like everyone there is just so dumb. So Eric and his brother, they go out and get the truck, but all of a sudden they're gone, and they try and like yell for them, but no one answers. And then they go out. They go out to the rest of the family. Eventually panics and goes out to the truck, and the boys are gone, and yeah, the boys the guys are gone. Not even the boys. They're just like grown ass men, and the guys are gone, and they just go. The family kind of panics for a bit, and then they're just like, all right, let's just go back. Let's just go back to the kitchen, and like let's go back and wait for them. And they kind of like make up some bullshit, like, oh, maybe they went all the way down the mountain to get help. Maybe the truck didn't work or something like that. I guess maybe the truck is just like dead, but I guess I assume the brothers are also gone. Anyway, they go back inside and they start playing fucking Go Fish. And this game of Go Fish lasts for, I kid you not, at least like 15 minutes. It's just 15 minutes of Go Fish, and just Mike just being like, "Guy, Ma, what about what happened to the neighbors out there?" And it's just like, fuck, he's just so stupid. He's so stupid and obnoxious. And then like Renee, I guess I think is the wife of the eldest brother. She tries to go open the door, and they stop her from doing it, and she doesn't remember why she was doing it. And that they kind of gloss over that. They go back to fucking Go Fish, and then Ma Van Hees goes to the door and tries to open it, and then she claims she was hearing like some type of voice telling her that she should open the door and let them in. And then retroactively, Renee is like, "Oh yeah, I heard the voice too. I heard that voice." And they're just like, "It's not so strange. It's just like a voice." And the voice, and they're just keep on talking. And while they're continuously talking, Mike goes to the spare room and finds that the alien's body is gone, and that the back door is fucking open, and he can't figure out how to fucking close it and lock it. I guess the aliens broke the door or something, because he just like pushes it with one hand. It's just like, oh shit, oh no. And so that discovery panics the whole family, and eventually they get him to finally put the fucking camera down. His mom, and he's like, "Well, you put that fucking camera down." She like finally gets mad for the first time in the whole movie, despite everyone just like kind of shitting on her in her house and shooting fucking bullets through her roof. And she finally gets mad, and they just go down and they sit in the kitchen, and the camera's still on and is facing the door, the back door, of course, that no one wants to check on and doesn't lock. And the aliens just kind of walk in through the back door, and there's three of them, and they're like little gray people, and no one hears them or see them. And then one of them kind of looks at the camera as the other two go around the corner into the kitchen, and the footage ends there. And that's the end of the McPherson tapes, aka UFO abduction. So, yeah, that was kind of that movie. Oh God, and then there's the credits, and most of the credits went to Dean Alioto, and then like a bunch of other people, none of whom were actually in the same family, oddly enough. I guess they're all just people, or probably just friends of the director for the most part, and then maybe someone's mom. Let me see, who is mom in Shirley McCalla. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's very strange. None of these people were related, so they must have just all been like friends, or like hired something. And it was produced through some fucking thing called Indie Syndicate Productions, and I wasn't really able to find much on them. Indie Syndicate. Oh shit. Productions. It sounds like a fake name, because it's just like a thing. Yeah, is it this Syndicate Productions now? Yeah, I don't know if any of this was like independent lifetime production. Portal transport to a dimension of the light. What is this? I guess this was another movie they produced at some point. It was that, and like Axiom Films was the distributor. Was that Axiom Films? Yeah, I guess that was distributed later by Axiom, because Axiom was just like a nothing movie that Yeah, weird stuff. Weird shit. But yeah, I guess they distributed this movie. They're just like a little weird independent distribution thing, and like yeah, it's just not really that important. I don't think they have that much business anymore. But after that, after all of the credits and stuff, I did run into one other thing that I first thought was interesting, and then turned out to just be kind of sad. And at the very end, there was something where it was dedicated to uh, Ginny Kleker, and I guess Ginny Kleker was one of the kids involved in the movie, and there were like three little girls who were put into those alien costumes to play the aliens, and like, hang on, sorry, just reading the interview here. Hate him. Yeah, it's kind of and just weird stuff. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there was yeah, at the very end of the movie, it said it was dedicated to Ginny Klecker, and I managed to find some very sad facts about that because that must have been added kind of retroactively because yeah, she played one of the aliens. I guess she played like the tallest alien because she was like the oldest kid at the time in 1989. But eventually in 2008, she committed suicide by hanging, and that was something where I was like, wow, that's actually really sad. And I didn't really I didn't at first I didn't really want to add it to the podcast at all because that's really sad. And then I thought maybe I should add it to the podcast because I don't think I have very much material to go off of it on and go off of, and so I need to add it just to fill out the time. But then I looked into some other connections, and yeah, so there's several articles about it because the mother ended up kind of going deep into like suicide prevention programs and stuff, which is pretty nice. But the crazy thing was like there were certain articles about it that then related it to an earlier incident in uh, yeah, to an earlier incident in Oakland County where there was a large firestorm. Let me see if I can look it up again. Oakland firestorm. Fucking God. Oakland Hills fire. Yeah, it was Oakland Hills fire. Yeah, and so I found that this was connected to the Oakland Hills firestorm because in 1991, 2 years after UFO abduction was filmed, a firestorm engulfed a lot of Oakland County, which is where some of Ginny Klecker's family lived, including her grandmother. And her grandmother was one of the 25 people or so who died in the blaze. And so yeah, so I ended up finding this information in several articles, and the most detailed one that actually made this connection um, was in the East Bay Times, which has a majorly paywalled article about the incident, about the firestorm and the aftermath, where literally I was not able to access it without being a subscriber. And it first tried to make me turn off my ad blocker, which I did, and then it said it was only available to subscribers. So they kind of suck for that, especially since I feel like it would have been a really eye-opening article. But, if any of you want to subscribe to the East Bay Times, you can go ahead and do that and get more details. But what I gathered was that her Ginny Klecker's grandmother was in the fire, and eventually she was able to call. She actually was staying nearby with a friend and called 911 to report the fire. But her grandmother, who also lived nearby, was not able to escape in time, and unfortunately died in the fire. And then 17 years later, citing depression and various issues going on in her life, Ginny Kleker ended up committing suicide by hanging. And so that was something that was extremely sad, but it was also just a very odd thing to find such a wide like range of connections, like that this random movie that's was had almost no audience and no budget and was set in Connecticut, had such a major connection to the Oakland fucking firestorm of 1991, which was until recently one of the worst fires in California history. And yeah, eventually it was also at the time called the tunnel fire, because there was like places like called tunnel, and so they called it a tunnel fire. I actually don't know why they called it the tunnel fire, but yeah, later, 30 years later in like 2020, there was another fire also called the tunnel fire because it was in the same area, and it was a little bit less devastating, but that just kind of shows what type of world we're living in, where you can have just two firestorms within a single generation of each other and have it be the same thing and not really have any way to stop it. So that's awesome and definitely rather depressing, but also an interesting connection buried in an otherwise very sad story. Something a little bit more lighthearted related to this movie was the fact that apparently some people who did see it or had at least heard about it were trying to or thought that it was actual evidence of alien abductions. And yeah, because apparently it, and I guess that helped kind of with the attention given to the movie, because there was almost no distribution, and except for like a little bit of on home video, I assume either from Axiom later on and maybe the Indie Syndicate people, that they managed to get like one theatrical screening in San Francisco, but didn't really work out very well. And then apparently when they tried to get the film released, the fucking whole distribution company burned to the ground. And so that kind of sucks. That sucks for that. But I guess there were enough copies and stuff where it was able to get burned into digital. So then Pluto TV was able to rerun it. And I imagine other places also reran it on television. But after that, it was kind of crazy that someone had managed to copy it and then tried to pass it off as actual alien evidence. And then some crazy old fuck who's like a former lieutenant colonel, who apparently he saw footage from the movie and then said that it was like fucking real. And he said that it was authentic. And even after it was exposed as a hoax, he later said that it was like, said that he was not convinced because the government would try and like grab all the copies and like fucking cover it up somehow, even though it's obviously just like children in fucking alien costumes. In one sequence where I believe it's Jason that's carrying the supposedly dead alien, I took the photographs of each frame, and in one frame the eye of the alien is sunken in. When I was at the International UFO Conference, there was a man standing over my shoulders. I was going through these prints, and he said, I had seen dead aliens, and that's exactly what happens. When they are dead, their eye gets caved like that. Oh, man. I still have a feeling that parts of that video may be 100% authentic. It's like, I don't know, dude. Which part was authentic? Was it the fucking sodium lights coming off of the stack of cardboard boxes, or the young girls who would later go on to have tragic lives in freaking little rubber alien costumes and turtlenecks? Or what is it? What is it? Donald Ware continued, I am not convinced the thing is a hoax because I know that our government policy, this is the lieutenant colonel, by the way, This is a man who helped run our fucking military and our national security policy. I am not convinced the thing is a hoax because I know our government policy is to insert disinformation to every major UFO case or release the document or possibly every home video that gets on the market. The reason is to keep the public from getting too excited about our alien visitors, hence the stickers on the back of the video saying this is dramatizing, which allows people not to accept it if they don't have to. And Dean apparently said, I didn't intend for this to be a hoax, and he wanted to make the most realistic UFO abduction tape possible. And but I guess that, you know what? Good on him for getting that, even though it's literally just like fucking not anything. Like he made the movie on $6,500. That's what it says on Wikipedia. A budget of $6,500, technically making it a low to no budget film because they just had nothing. I guess that was just the expenses they reported for the movie. So that probably included like beer and shit too. Like who even keep track of that sort of thing? But yeah, it's just kind of very, very strange. Very strange that people would think that that's totally real. Yeah, pitch blackness. Yeah. Then, you know what, they're saying, it really improves the film's perceived authenticity, which I guess makes sense. So if he isn't just like bullshitting to cover up the fact that he made a really low budget nothing movie and said that he wanted to make it as realistic as possible, then you know what? Cool for him. Oh shit, does Dean Alito have a Vimeo channel? Oh my god. Dean Alioto. Wow, he has like several. He has a lot of little videos. He has a music video. He has a trailer for his film Portal. He has a random casting tape from someone that I guess he was allowed to upload. So he has his own little Vimeo account. That's cool. I guess go and check out Dean Alioto's video account. That's Dean, Dean Alioto. Dean Alioto. But yeah, you know what? Who knows if he was actually trying to make a really realistic movie. In this interview, he also says he wanted to just put out a movie by the time he was 25 years old because like Spielberg and shit had done that. He's like, yeah, fucking excellent stuff. Really influences. Yeah, he was a big Spielberg guy. Orson Welles. Obviously, that makes sense. Was able to convince a friend of mine to throw in $6,500 to do it. Okay, so that's where the 6,500 number comes from. But yeah, I guess some friend of his had $6,500 to throw around in 1989. So that's good for him, I suppose. Yeah. Check out that Vimeo because I don't know what else he's putting out, and I don't really know about the availability of any of his other movies, but I'd give another one a watch if he was actually able to make this thing off $6,500. It was extremely boring. Okay, that should be my takeaway from it, that it was not an exceptionally interesting film. There wasn't a lot of gore. There weren't a lot of real effects. It was mostly just kind of filming this cabin and filming the dark, and then little girls in alien costumes going around and being funny little creepy aliens. And so, yeah, it's boring, but it was definitely somewhat creative and somewhat innovative in certain ways. And I'd recommend watching it, except that Pluto TV makes that way fucking harder because they stretch a 66-minute movie into a 100 or into basically an 80-minute movie that has ads. So, if you want to brave the ads of Pluto TV, I recommend going in and watching this movie, just so you can get a little bit of found footage history, because basically, other than Cannibal Holocaust, there was not another I guess there's not really a lot of other known found footage horror movies in English, especially none like that, and it got almost no coverage. But it was kind of definitely influential, and definitely has all the hallmarks of modern found footage filmmaking. Shaky cam, annoying narrators, directors just being there in the film, all that shit. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'll probably post the link to this interview that I found at foundfootagecritic.com, because that's where I got a majority of this information. The other stuff I just got off like fucking Wikipedia and shit, and it's just like, that's just garbage. And then of course the stuff related to the Oakland firestorm and the tragedy of Virginia Kleker. That was just came off of a Google search, but there's a couple different websites I got information from. There's 90.5 WESA, the East Bay Times, and those are the two main ones. But other than that, there were definitely not a ton of information. But what information I did find, I can post in the description if you so want to peruse this treasure trove of information. But yeah, I think other than that, that's about all I wanted to talk about for this movie, UFO Abduction, directed by Dan Alioto, starring Dan Alioto and other people, including Tommy Giavocini. I knew that guy was Italian. That was the guy playing Eric. I knew he was fucking Italian, dude. Just telling people, shut up, ma! Shut up. He was not Dutch. That's bullshit. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Another fucking Italian dude. Ma, shut up. Hey, you all shut up. I'm in charge of this family here. I'm in charge of this fucking family right now, and I got a gun, and I'm taking my other brother who doesn't have a name, and I'm going to take him out to die. Yeah. That was the movie. That's UFO Abduction. Check it out on Pluto, I guess, or if you can find a copy of it somewhere. That's probably better if you could just watch it in the medium that it was meant to be watched, a videotape or a burned DVD or something like that. But yeah, that's about as far as I want to go on that. Yeah, more podcasts coming up. I should finally be able to release this big bulk of episodes. These first 5 or so episodes. I don't really remember how many. I think it's like 5. But beyond that, there should be more episodes out relatively soon. I'll have more crap to talk about. Not that this was crap, but we're definitely gonna get into some real shit ass movies. It's gonna be some real dog shit on here, because I find the weird stuff more interesting anyway. If I have to talk about fucking Halloween or something, or a movie that everyone else has talked about, that would be annoying. And I've already watched it, and beyond that, big dudes in masks kind of scare me, and I don't really want to get into all that. Oh, one more thing. No sleeps. Let's find more no sleeps. We can vote. Ideally, I'll actually set it up where we can vote on these. I'll probably post these in the description as well. Or let me see what we got for new no sleep titles. Yeah, so we have. All right. So let's look through these ones. We have one that's tagged for animal abuse in the content. That's always fun. And it's called My Family's Sacred Trust, Bella and Barney. Another title, I'm stuck in a Zoom meeting and can't log off. There's this long-ass fucking story title here. Here it goes. The old abandoned house on the hill had sat empty for decades. The townsfolk avoided it, claiming it was haunted. But when a group of teenagers dared each other to spend the night inside, they discovered a terrifying secret hidden within its walls. That is a summary. That is not a title. That is not a fucking title. Why is that a title? There's 3 complete sentences in there. It's all grammatically correct too. It's not just like some fucking brain dead teenager just spamming a run-on sentence to make their title. It's literally 3 complete sentences making up this one title that also just describes the whole story. All right, let's a couple more. There's Susurrus, Susurrus, Susurrus. I guess we'll see about that. Next one, just met the tall figure in town, ... One after that, old family friends can come by like a storm. Okay. This next one's a series, so I'm not going to get into that. Next one's a series, I'm not going to get into that. Child abuse tag. That's awesome. Gross. Fuck that. But here's the title anyway. Kate may look innocent when she's crying in the recycling bin, but I think she's a murderer. And then finally, my husband and I have been playing a game of tag for 5 years, but the rules have turned him into something terrifying. Oh, that's awesome. All right, definitely one of those. I'll put this list of titles in the description. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of Something's Wrong. Hopefully we'll have less depressing anecdotes in the next episode. That one about Virginia Kleker was real sad. I mean, it was interesting that it's such a small film could have such a wide reach like that, but that was just straight fucking depressing, and I hope I never have to read anything depressing like that again, especially something that just isn't really, there's nothing funny about it, and that sucks. Yeah, the point is ideally less sad next time, but who knows what we'll get into. I got a couple movies in mind. Maybe some more found footage, maybe a slasher, maybe another creature feature, maybe something else, maybe something foreign. Maybe I'll look at something that's not in English and see if I can actually have the reading comprehension skills to understand things based off subtitles. Understanding things based off subtitles. But yeah, on that, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see fuck, god damn it, I won't see anyone actually. I can't see any of you, and I record this alone. I believe my producer left for their real job, so yeah, I'm just kind of alone in here. I won't be seeing anyone, but yeah, talk to y'all later. Bye bye.